know how Ike Turner like to say that white folks stole everything from black folks? Or him? I want to know who he stole that mushroom wig from. Because black folks ain't got straight hair like that. Not synthetic wig straight. Hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com for this promo combo. We have the Miss Hollywood DC shades and this Renee scarf. We only have one brown set left and one pink set left. So if I was you, I would go on over there and check it out. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about taking back my name. Ike Turner with Nigel Cawthorne. The TV thing, the TNT show with Phil Spector. I think it was the first time I met him. It was certainly the first time he saw my show. I was aware of him through the Ronettes and the Righteous Brothers, whom he was producing at the time. He had his secretary call me to say he wanted to produce a record on Tina herself. He came over to my house and said he wanted to do it all on his own. He didn't want me to participate in the session in producing it. I said, great. All I wanted was a hit. I didn't care who did it. I got no attitude. I don't care who produces a hit record on me today, man. All I care about is success. It ain't how you win. It's did you win. I'm not interested in the glamour of it all. So I told him, okay. And he had Tina come out to his house to sing. Pause. I want to know, what the hell did he do to the Tina Turner while she was down there? Tina come home and say, that nigga Phil is crazy. I don't want to be over there no more with him. He's crazy. It's a funny situation with Phil Spector and Tina Turner, man. He seemed to know an awful lot about what is happening with Tina. He made nice gestures to me, but he don't never follow through on it. What in DC we call that welling. He always talking about what he going to do and then don't never do it. He like talking. He made nice gestures to me, but he don't never follow through on it. He also act like he's a friend of mine until it get down to really showing that he is a friend of mine. What I mean by that is he don't owe me nothing, but I don't ask him for nothing either. You dig? Overall, I really like Phil, but that don't mean nothing to him one way or another because he ain't put no money into this project. And he ain't put none in my pockets even to talk about it. What? You ain't, what? How does that work? Anyway, when he gets drunk, he wants to boss everyone around. And the people he has around him, I guess I was the same way at one time. Okay, so it could be some accountability right there. You know he ain't got much of it. I had a lot of yes sirs around me. Just kidding me. Just yesing. Man, I hated that they were like that with him. I don't think it's fair to him. You don't know yourself until you see yourself. Okay? You think that you are the Queen of Sheba until you see somebody with the same behavior as you and you think it's disgusting. In my opinion, Phil Spector is a genius. I don't know if he play an instrument or not, but I got respect for that man. He made 10 times the money I made in this business. He is a sharp dude. I would kind of like to do something with him. He doesn't know my talent. He doesn't know nothing about me. So I stayed out of the studio and let Phil and Tina jail on with recording River Deep Mountain High. I didn't hear it until it was finished. I thought it was a great
record. Me too. I think it's genius. I also thought that it was the kind of record you might not like if you played it low. You had to play it loud to like it. I agree. It stayed in the charts for 21 weeks in London, all over the world. The record was a great success. But in America, it never did nothing. The black station said it was too white. The white station said it was too black. So the record had no home here. They shouldn't have put my name on it like that. In Europe, man, they don't give a shit what color you are. If the record's got it, it's got it. All over the continent, the record made it to number one. If they hadn't tried to categorize it, maybe we'd have made number one in America. I agree. Man, I was never crazy about whether my name was on it or not, or where I stood on stage. It didn't mean nothing to me. Some people say that River Deep is the reason Phil Spector quit the record business, but I don't agree with that. I just think he has a hell of a talent in the studio. He did wonders in the record business with people like the Ronettes. River Deep wasn't Tina's only solo effort. This guy, Bob Crew, produced all the hit records for the 4 seasons. I got me an idea that I would see if I could get him to produce a record with Tina. When I was in New York, I made contact with him and got him to produce Tina. It wasn't a hit, and I done forgotten what the song was. He had a technique like Phil Spector. I was actively pushing Tina as a solo act. It wasn't like Ike Turner was a singer and Tina Turner was a singer. Ike Turner was the music and Tina Turner was the singer. That's what Ike and Tina is. When the Rolling Stones were here, we were playing a place called PJ's on the Santa Monica Boulevard. They came there to hear us play and we got acquainted. Mick Jagger can't sing. He's all right, but he ain't no singer, man. If Mick had to start all over today, he would never have made it. He was lucky. He hit it just right. Pause. Is that the reason why when they came over to your studio, Ickety, you kidnapped them motherfuckers? The manager of the Rolling Stones was banging on the windows talking about letting my group out of there. And he thought it was funny to lock all the doors in his house/studio. Them people in there panicking. They're like, what the fuck is wrong with Ike? Why is he kidnapping the Rolling Stones? That was something that Ickety, wake up and decided to do randomly. Okay, if you come to my studio, you hear the jam, I'm going to kidnap you. I'm going to keep you here until I'm ready for you to go. I forgot where I got this information from, but I'm sure that it was either Bobby Womack or Marvin Gaye. And I'm heavily leaning on Bobby Womack. Yeah, I believe it was in Bobby Womack's book. They got big coming from England. He got big, and man, he is still going. Maybe I should have taken up singing. At that time, I met Brian Jones. We really got to be tight brothers. Man, when Brian got drowned, I got close to Keith Richards. Man, Keith and Eric Clapton are the 2 guitarist playing people I've seen in my whole effing life. Keith Richards don't know how good he is. He don't know what he can play because he don't never repeat himself when he plays. I never did get close to Mick though, and I never met any of the Beatles. The Rolling Stones were so impressed by Ike and Tina Turner that they invited them over to England for the 1966 UK tour. But Ike had problems with the promoter. At first, they wanted only Ike and Tina. Then it was Ike and Tina and the Ikeettes. Ike, however, insisted that his whole band came over, and eventually he got his way. Hell yeah. We only played 6 days with the Rolling Stones. The rest of the time we played tiny places, pubs with sweat running off the walls. Sound like a goddamn go-go to me. With Ronnie Bell, one time we played in Berlin. On the airplane, I put my bag in the back of the seat in front of me. There was about $26,000 in there. We got to Berlin, got off the plane. I forgot the bag and went to the gig. While I was in the dressing room, I remembered my bag. I told Ronnie Bell, Ronnie, you know I left my money on that plane. He went flying off to the airport. It was about 7 o'clock when I missed it, and he got back around 11. I was on stage when he got back, and he waved up at me. The airplane had been to 4 cities and had come back with the bag still in the pocket of the seat. Man, I was so grateful. He could have come back and told me he hadn't found it, but he didn't. A similar thing happened in France, except that time the ending wasn't so happy. My contract said that the promoters had to pay me in American dollars. They couldn't pay me in no English money, no France, no nothing. We was getting $10,000 a night back then, so I had up to $80,000 or $90,000 in my briefcase when we went to Paris. When I walked into the dressing room, I set the briefcase down behind the door. I got dressed, did this TV show, came back, changed into my street clothes, opened the door, and looked around the room. I didn't see nothing, so I got into the limo. 20 minutes away from the TV station, I say, "Where's the briefcase?" Tina said, "And you got it?" Ike, "You got it?" The driver turns round and flies back to the TV station. That money gone. Tina believes in psychics. She said, "Ike, Peter Herkos can find that money. I know he can." I said, "I bet you $10,000 he can't. If he finds it, I'll give you $10,000. If he don't, you don't spend any money for the next ... So I called up Peter Herkos in Amsterdam, Holland. He flew to France. He was touching things, talking about he feel this, he feel that. Then he went to Amsterdam to see some of his people, and then he came back again. He ain't found shit. That shit ain't about nothing, man. Like I said, there was 80,000, 90,000 in that case. Someone had a real good Christmas. Pause. You remember when we was reading Eddie Armani's book / Young TT or Young Eddie? And Tina Turner believed when Miss Cleo had said that Young Eddie had stole, I think it was some jewelries from her. She went to Miss Cleo, who done stole all my good jewelries? Miss Cleo was like, it was Young Eddie. He stole your money. And she believed him. And later on, she had to apologize to Young Eddie because she had found it wrapped up in some old clothes. Girl, I think you need to give up on them psychics, okay? Peter Herkos' failure in France didn't shake Tina's belief in psychics. She ain't stopped believing in the power, okay? So she contacted another psychic, Mr. Cleo, had said, you and Ike finna break up. You get ready to fall in love with this foreign man. He's going to be everything to you, everything you want in life, because Mr. Cleo says so. Tina believed that. Another psychic told her that she was going to meet this foreigner and fall in love with him, and that we were going to break up. This foreigner she would be going with had a pond in his garden, the psychic said. I sent Tina to do the movie Tommy. I didn't go myself. After filming was finished, they gave a party at Robert Stigwood's house. He got this pond in the yard of his house, so she's thinking that he's the one. When she saw that pond, Tina started throwing herself at him, but he didn't respond. No way. Then she came back to America and started calling his office in New York. He wouldn't even return her calls. The secretary would put her on hold and never come back to the phone. They never told me nothing about it until after we broke up. Now, let me tell you why I believe this. Because when Tina is into something, like how we learned from Young Eddie's book, she's in it. She's on it. She don't care nothing about looking like a fucking fool. Remember when her guitar player, I forget his name, but he carried the shiz out of her. She still fucked him on the Johnny Carson show. Okay? So I kind of believe this story. The way the relationship works, it feels open. it doesn't feel like there's any cheating going on in a relationship. It really does feel like they're in an open marriage. Open not marriage, because according to Ike, they ain't married. Having introduced Ike and Tina to Europe, the Rolling Stones then exposed them to millions of young white fans in America by taking Ike and Tina on their 1969 tour of the United States. We played in LA at the Forum. B.B. King would do his show, then we would come on. Then the Rolling Stones. While B.B. was on, Mick Jagger and I, sometimes Keith Richards and I, would walk through the audience out there. When Mick went out among the audience, don't nobody bother him. What book was that we read? What book did we read when they said that Mick Jagger wasn't too personable? Was it Young T.T.? Was it Eddie Armani book? Oh, he was personable with the bitches. He loved the Ikeettes. Now, so far, Ike Turner didn't talk about how Mick stole P.P. Arnold. I've read before that Mick is not very personable. And you know that Mick and Keith really don't mess with each other. They just know how to make money together because they have two very dominant personalities. Then we'd go backstage. Tina and I would practice or show one of the girls some steps. Mick would stand and watch us. I guess that's when he got interested in dancing because he wasn't dancing before that. Then we went on stage, man, and lifted the audience up to the moon. Ain't nobody could follow that. The Stones were only supposed to do an hour-long show or something. Shit, they'd be on stage an hour and a half, 2 hours, trying to get the audience to move. Coming on behind us like that was rough. So what Mick did was to put us on first, then B.B. King, and then they went on. Okay. When we started going out on the road, we met Janis Joplin and Big Brother and the holding company. Janis used to come up to L.A., and I would show her different things about singing. And I met Kathy McDonald. She was a bitchin' singer boy. Janis, she was just an average person. She wasn't stuck up or nothing, man. I don't think she died the way they say she did. Oh, yes, she did. Janis Joplin had a heroin problem. According to Ickety Ikety, in his mind, it was a conspiracy to kill Janis because she was a white woman who was speaking up against the system. It was a conspiracy. It might be so. But according to Rick James, Janis Joplin had been with a guy that was using her. She liked to drink that Southern Comfort, and she liked to tie one off. So it don't have nothing to do with the establishment. Her overdose had to do with her overdose. She was in her feelings about her dude, and she overdosed. Okay? Now, I loves me some Janis Joplin, but Ike Turner talking about it was a conspiracy and gave her a hot shot. If you do drugs, eventually you will get a hot shot. Because of people like Janis, the Rolling Stones, Clapton, and other groups, things changed. You had a younger generation that was not hooked on race. It was free everything, free women. See what I'm talking about? He don't take no accountability for the bitch. They didn't care how prejudiced or biased their parents were. They came out and said, I want to see for myself. I ain't going by what my parents or my grandparents did. It was a complete change, and it was the younger generation that brought it about. That's why today, man, our young blacks don't know about shit. In the 70s, one of the Black Panthers were running for mayor in Oakland, California. They had booked my band and signed the contract under another name. 'Cause I don't get mixed up in no racial shit, man. They were thinking race. We just thinking of music and having fun.
Hollywood. Lovely white light, baby carry. No all the stars and all the dancing balls, but it is in Hollywood, people. Hollywood.